Welcome to Draw Your Day Creative Videos. My name's Jodie Silverman and I work as an artist for Cartwheel Arts. I've created this video so that you can follow along at home and I'll show you what materials you'll need. Today's activity is all about having fun and letting your creativity out. So let's grab some materials and we can get creative together. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you what materials you'll need for today's activity. First, I've got some A4 paper. This is quite thick paper. You could also use card if you wanted. Then I've got some watercolours. I'm lucky to have quite a nice set of watercolours. If you've not got watercolours, you could always use poster paint, acrylic paint, anything that you've got at home, any kind of paint is fine. Then I've got some crayons. You could also use felt tip pens, oil pastels. You could even use just a biro. Absolutely anything that you've got at home is fine. It's really versatile, this activity. Then I've got some scissors. Remember to ask for help using the scissors from an adult if you need to. Then I've got some pipe cleaners. You could also use wire. I've got some funky pink wire here, but you could also use gardening wire, florist wire. Again, just make sure you ask for help from a grown-up if you need it. Then I've got a pencil and a paintbrush. And then the last thing that I've got here is some plasticine. If you've not got any plasticine at home, you could also use blue tack or something like that. Okay, so there's all your materials. Let's get creating. So today's activity is called Arty Object. It's all about playing and experimenting and just exploring your creativity. I'll show you my Arty object that I made earlier. I'll just sort of turn it so that you can see all the different facets of it. So as you can see, this is quite sculptural, this piece, and it also reminds me of like a little sailboat. So let's get started. As always, make sure you've got a table covering down, and make sure you're wearing an apron or you've got small clothes on. So the first thing you need is some paper. You need the paper to be quite thick, or you need to use card for this. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use the crayons to just create some shapes on the page. If you've not got crayons or oil pastels, then you can use felt tip pens, you can use coloured pencils, you can use anything really, because all we're doing is creating an abstract image. So that image could just be patterns and shapes or colours on the page. It can be absolutely anything. So I'm going to start off with my crayons, and I'm just going to start drawing some patterns. And I'm just going to start taking this line for a walk across the page. Then I'm going to use my white oil pastel. I'm just going to put some lines in there. And then I think I'm going to use some pink, put some hearts. I'm going to use some yellow. I'm going to put some stars in. I've also got some Sharpies here, so I'm just going to use a bit of Sharpie just to show you what happens when you use Sharpie, because it reacts in a similar way to the with the paint to the oil pastels, which I just discovered today. It's quite interesting. Bit of green. So I think I'll just do some squiggles here with the green. So you can literally just do anything you feel like doing on here. Just be totally free with it and just play and experiment with different shapes and not worrying too much about it. You can even use your oil pastels on the side and just create some areas of colour. Quite like drawing little circles all together. I think it looks a little bit like frog spawn when you draw lots of little circles all clustered together. And then I think use a little bit more white, because I quite like how the white looks when the paint goes over the top of it. Maybe use a little bit more Sharpie. Okay, so I've got my patterns down. I'm going to move on to my paint now. If you don't have any paint at home, don't worry, just carry on working into this with whatever you've got. If you've just got a biro, you can just fill the whole page with lots of different patterns. If you've got coloured pencil, then you might want to do patterning, you might want to kind of colour in different areas, but just keep going until you're sort of happy with the image and happy that the page is sort of nicely full. So as I said, I've got watercolour paints here. If you've not got watercolours and you've just got acrylic or poster paint, you might want to just really water your paint down so that it's a similar consistency to watercolour. So make it nice and runny. I'm going to show you what happens now when you paint over the top with your watercolours. So as you can see, because the watercolour doesn't mix with the wax and the oil pastel, you can still see the patterns through the paint. And even where you've got the Sharpie, you get a similar effect because the Sharpies aren't water-based. So you can still see the Sharpie. They'll kind of push the paint away from the surface of where the Sharpie is on the page. Now you can just use whatever colours you like and just go over each of the sections. And just keep going until the whole page is filled, or until you're sort of happy with what you've done. There we go. So when this is dry, if you want to leave it to dry and go and have a drink, have a little break or something, then that's fine. If you want to speed things up, you could use a hairdryer if you want. You can just turn it over and paint the back of it. I've got one that's dry here, so I'll show you what I've done. So there's the front with all the patterns on, and then the back I've just kind of filled it with one colour, so there's a bit of a contrast between the pattern side and the plain side. So when all that is dry, you're going to take your scissors, and this bit's really fun. I kind of like making things and then destroying them and making them into something else, because it makes you a bit less precious about art making, and it just sort of loosens you up a bit. So I'm just going to start cutting this up just into different shapes. Now remember, if you need help with the scissors, just ask an adult to give you a hand. And your shapes sort of want to be about this kind of size. And you can do whatever shapes you want. I think I might, because I've done all quite angular shapes, I might do some circles and some curves as well. There we go. So the next thing that I'm going to do is get my plasticine ready, and then I'm going to show you how to make little holes in your shapes safely. So what you want to do is get yourself a little bit of plasticine or blue tack or whatever you're using, and just roll it up into a ball. Plonk it on the page, and then get yourself a nice sharp pencil and just pop your bit of card onto the plasticine and just poke your pencil through the card, and you get a nice little hole. So I'm going to do that now with all of my shapes. And this is a lot easier than trying to poke a hole in your card with your pipe cleaner. There we go. Done a lot here, you might not need this many. Right, so the next thing that I'm going to do is get my pipe cleaner. If you want to make it, if you've got lots and lots of bits of card and you want to use them all, you might want to join two pipe cleaners together, or you could also just make a couple of different arty objects, so you don't have to just make one. I'm going to start just putting my pipe cleaner, threading my pipe cleaner through my bits of card. You might want to sort of arrange your bits of card and sort of choose your favourite ones. I quite like this circular one, so I'm going to put that in the middle and make a bit of a feature of it. It's quite a nice one as well. So see how many I can squash onto here. I might move these up a little bit. I quite like these ones because they look a bit like strawberries. It's quite a nice one. So once you've got all your bits on, it looks a bit like a necklace, this. Maybe you could make a necklace, like as a little present for your mum or somebody. So it could also be a necklace. It's like 2 for the price of 1, this. So there you go, there's your there's all your bits and bobs on your pipe cleaner. And then you're going to get your plasticine and you're going to create a base. So I'm just going to grab a little bit more and just roll it all together. Sometimes it takes a little while to soften, depends. This is quite soft, this plasticine, but sometimes if it's been sitting around for a bit, it goes rock solid, doesn't it? And you need to kind of roll it about a bit and knead it to soften it up. So there we go. There's the base. So I'm going to stick that down there and sort of make it into a nice dome shape. And then I'm just going to bury my pieces of pipe cleaner into it and hopefully it will stand up. I'll just use that bottom bit of card. There we go, that was kind of helping it a bit. And then once you've got that in place, you can kind of turn your bits of card and you can sort of manipulate it a little bit to create a shape that you like, so that you can kind of see the patterns better. There we go, so that's quite interesting. And there you have it. Turn it, try and catch the light so you can see it a bit better. So there you have your arty object. I hope you enjoyed following along with the video today. If you did, please like and share with your friends and family. We'd love to see what you created. Please tag us at Cartwheel Arts and hashtag Draw the Day in any pictures that you post online. You can also email your pictures to admin@cartwheelarts.org.uk and we'll feature them in our Draw the Day online gallery. Until next time, take care. Bye bye.